Hello and welcome back to another Arts and Crafts with me, William, here at TRC. Today we're going to be using some regular household items to make a decorative hanging owl. You are going to need a tin can, 5 pieces of tin foil that are about 12 by 12. I'm going to be using a coat hanger. You can use any type of wire that you may have in the house, up to and including some yarn. You're going to need some type of glue. I'll be using glue sticks, but you can use Elmer's glue. You're just going to need some tape to hold it in place while it dries. And some type of bauble, bead, marble, button. You can even use stones. Those are going to be inserted in to make the pupil of the eyes. I'm also going to be using a drill to make holes in my can. If you do not have access to a drill, hammer and nail will do just the same. You're just going to have to be careful. And when hammering with a tin can, you're going to want to go from the inside out just to keep it from bending too much. I'll show that a little bit later. So, first steps for me are going to be shaping my aluminum foil so that I can put the parts into the eyes so they have a chance to dry and be usable when it comes time to assemble everything at the end. For my first two, I'm going to use the can and I am going to place it not quite in the center, but off center to one side, just a little bit. And I'm going to start rolling, pinching to one end. See, rolling and pinching to one edge. I'm using the can to keep the center of that, what will be the eye, flat. And I will have set one eye, sort of one socket, and do the same again. Off center, just a little bit. And I'll start rolling the foil on one side, rotate, roll on the other, and then bring it in Now I have one shooting out to the side, one eye should be facing out one way and the other should be facing in the opposite direction. You see, as I'm rolling them, one is pointing to the right and one is going to be pointing to the left. Each one is then going to give me sort of that eyelash look that owls are known for. Alright, so those are my eyes. Next, I'm going to be working on the beak. So for that, I'm going to hold the foil in a diamond shape. I'm turning it over so that the shiny side is facing down, because the shiny side is facing out, and I'm working from the back first. So I'm just going to start folding so I get something like a Superman's S. Now I'm looking for a big triangle. Nice tight crumple that kind of looks just a little bit like a triangle, and then that is going to fall in as a beak shape. For the last two, I'm going to work on the wings. Very much like the eyes, except I'm not using the can to keep an area flat. I'm just going to crumple. Crumple a shape that resembles a wing. And I'm going to do my best to recreate that same shape, opposite for the other side. So I've just adjusted it so that it's opposite. And I'll compare them so they're about the same shape and the same size. And I'll put those to the side here, and with the beak. Now the eyes are only half done. So for the eyes, we can use some type of bobble. For this, I'm going to be using a green button. Each eye gets one. And I'm just going to use my glue stick, or hot glue gun. Apply some glue. And place my button. That'll give me my eye effect. Now I'm going to prepare my can by putting in a hole in the top for the wire to come through so I can tie and hang it somewhere. And then I'm going to put 2 holes in the bottom for the legs to dangle from. Now if I were using a hammer and nail, carefully, I'd hold the nail in place and just tap in. And when it comes to doing the side, I did this using a magazine. Place it on a magazine. Set my nail on the inside and tap it through. But for the demonstration purposes, I'm just going to use a drill. Holding the can steady, holding the drill steady, and right through. Now I'm looking at the can. I'm going to have the seam of the can to the back. And I can hold the can in front of me. And I'm going to put a couple of holes in the bottom foreleg. So I have my 2 holes in place, and a hole in the top for hanging. So I just have an ordinary wire coat hanger and some wire cutters. I'm going to cut off the bottom, and then I'm going to cut off the 2 sides, and I'm going to use these pliers to shape them. One will go through the top to hold, and the other 2 are going to be shaped to look like dangling legs. First I'm just going to bend it over so I have a little bit of a hook. And I'm just going to turn and bend the wire. So it looks like the owl's feet. Just making sure that the hook doesn't line up with the foot, so that when it hangs in a direction that lets it be seen. I'll poke it through the hole. And use it to pinch it tight a little bit, just so it doesn't fall out. Same thing. I'm going to just do what I can to match up and mirror that looks like a foot. Turn it to match and insert through the hole and then pinch it closed. And to put it loop through the top, I'm going to take a big straight piece and I'm just going to curl it a little bit and turn it up so that I can insert it through the can. And this way I can set the height of where my hook is going to be. And in this case I can set it up nice and high. And I'll just trim off the excess and just give it a little bit of a curl over, just so I don't accidentally poke myself while I'm working. Now if you're going to be using regular Elmer's glue or the white school glue, you're going to do this in longer steps. You'll apply each piece and tape it and let it sit for a couple of hours so the glue has a chance to dry before moving on to the next one. Because I'm using the glue sticks, I'm going to be able to do all of the fixing at the same time. I'm going to use the two tools that I have just to make sure the can doesn't roll, to keep myself safe so I don't accidentally burn my hands. Something that we've all done at least once with these types of glue guns. I'm going to start with the nose, or the beak. I'm going to apply a dab of glue right there toward the center. And I'm just going to press and hold so the beak has a chance to cool in place. Now, I like to do is I use the button or the bobble or the marble. I'm going to press in just a little bit with my thumb and forefinger and make a small indent, which you can see here in the back. And that's where I'm going to apply most of my glue. Make sure that you have the eyebrow pointing out in the direction that you created it for. Again, poke through, thumb and forefinger. So I have a little plateau or a place to apply most of my glue. And then make sure I'm happy with where that lines up. Now it'll give me the facial features. Now on the wings, there's a little bit of a curve and a flat that you make naturally as you're making the shape for these. And that is what's going to be glued so that it can adhere to the body. Now because we have so much stuff, I can use the eye to keep it balanced. I'm not going to press too much pressure, and I'm going to apply one wing to each side, just behind the eye. And press and hold. Now if I'd like to, while it's here, I can also apply just a dab of glue to connect the eye and the wing, just so it doesn't flop around, and give it a little more stick and structure. Make sure that I have my base at the wing where I'm going to apply my glue. Pull the eye out just because I moved it a little bit, and press and hold. And again, just a little bit of glue where the eye and the wing meet, just to help support each other. And because it's aluminum foil, I can make changes, I can adjust. If I don't like that big tip, I can always shrink it up. Just make sure you do it to both sides. If you want to fluff them out so they face forward, make adjustments to the eyes, anything you want to do at this point. It's your project. You can do with it as you like. But if you're careful and you're patient and make small adjustments, you can turn some basic items in your home into a nice, beautiful, hanging owl shape. Because this is all metal, I can actually hang this outside by a tree, which would then give me a little bit of a wind chime. You can hear as the metal rattles, it gives a little bit of a metal jingle, which some people may enjoy, some people may not. It all depends on your preference. But I think it comes out really nice. I look forward to seeing your results. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.